Hey everyone, welcome back. We are just about ready to go. Actually waiting on Riskin here.
Yeah, sorry. So the bets paid out. The bot was still working, but for some reason it just wasn't transmitting to chat. So I'm restarting it as we speak, trying to figure things out here.
Okay. Do you want me to wait or just,
Oh, we can
go?
go. We're
Okay.
fine. I'm just saying it'll take time for it to actually show anything.
Alright. Yeah. Okay, so it's gonna be a TvT, as said, and I really liked your point, how he gave Nurture such an easy win. Really wasn't. Even in that last macro game, still was a little bit difficult. Maybe Lillekanin can really throw something here at uThermal, but I feel like if you're solid as a Terran player, your matchup doesn't usually provide quite the same level of oh, I messed up once and I'm dead. Sometimes, one base build versus one base build, things can get wonky. But even then, the player who thinks they're better usually just ends up defending and playing the safer game to
Yeah.
make sure they win.
All right, so we're ready whenever they are. It looks like we're going to be getting into this. I don't know if any coupon codes are still available. We've used up so many today, but if they are, guys, please go to the Match Arena page. And if you use the code MOUNTAIN, you'll donate $1 to the prize pool out of Match Arena's pocket on your behalf. You won't have to spend any money. You don't have to give any credit card or PayPal info. Just make sure to go there and check it out. But if you do want to donate some actual dollar bills and get a chance to win something really cool for it, we do have that portrait code, that really incredibly exclusively rare portrait code. There's only like 15 left in the world that are unclaimed. And it can be yours if you are the highest donator on that donation list. So currently, Hojo the Super Clown with $51 has got it on lockdown. See if anyone can maybe usurp him. But spawning here in the bottom left side of Huangshan Mt, we've got none other than the blue Terran uThermal.
In the top right, as that green Terran, he is Lillekanin.
So, I guess Crank and Holy Moly got some new emotes on Twitch, and they're done in this like Rick and Morty style.
I
I
saw.
love it.
Yes, they're.
Cranks looks so creepy though.
I just. It'd be so hard to tell it was them, you know?
I wouldn't know, but since like I wouldn't know if I didn't know. But now that I do know, it's easy to see.
Really? So Olivia, I think, can just be like, honestly, anyone. But Cranks looks like almost like he was drawn for the dad
Garfield.
in Fairly Odd Parents,
That looks more
or
like a Garfield character or something.
or yeah, Garfield character. But like it, yeah, I like the funniness of it, and of course, the whole thing is you would look at the tag and you'd be like, oh, that's Cranks, but they look so weird. They're creepy.
Well, context here, guys. Zombie Group hasn't watched a lot of Rick and Morty, so I don't know what to say about that.
What?
Real
What?
quick, going forward, TvT can certainly be a lot of very quick games, I guess you could say. We see a lot of, like, especially in Korea, like the 2 Reaper and 1 Hellion end to games. And Lillekanin is the type of guy I would not mark up to play that style. That'd be more of uThermals. But Lillekanin is the type of guy to do things weird, like proxy a factory and followed up with like a proxy starport. The thing for uThermal, though, is he knows Lillekanin, and he knows he's totally the type of guy to do this kind of shit. So he scouts this, nails it, and now knows what's going on.
Yeah. Well, when it's Lillekanin, because he didn't. What he scouted in the main, he saw 2 gases. That tells you that there is a factory. You don't see a factory in the main. I mean, there's something up, right? And then Lillekanin is the just cherry on top that confirms your suspicion. Now, what's always the trick is that what build is this going into? Because it could have been Hellbats. It could be a starport. It could have been a second factory for all I know. Lillekanin has plenty of different builds
Well,
that can be proxied or not.
for Lillekanin, like 90% of the time, it's going to be a medevac lifting up Hellions to the main when available. Banshees is like a quick follow-up or follow-through. This unfortunately means the SCV won't get to build, and this really screws his plans over because he was building. Oh, yeah, he brought some Reapers over to defend it, which is kind of cool. But another SCV is not on the way, so he's not going to actually be able to build the starport. And this really screws with timings because one of the big things about these attacks is the timing in which it hits.
Yeah.
It's a Thor. It's a proxy Thor.
So
What?
I really wonder if the plan is even consistent as to what he originally was thinking, because the army was put down. I was thinking like, okay, he's done Hellbat builds in the past. I mean,
That's actually a really good point because seeing this, you start putting up, say, like a bunker or anything to really defend against this, but not like not this specifically, excuse me, against what is either Banshees or Hellions as the typical 1 or 2. Instead, it's a Thor, and this is crazy different. Unfortunately, Lillekanin's got to defend at home, which he can't do. He's got no army, no units, no bunker to fight with. He's building a bunker as we speak, but it's... actually, it might just finish. I take that back. It might just finish.
Well, we'll see what that Thor can do. The proxy Thor is actually, like, I mean, 3 years ago you saw it once on Pro League, everyone laughed, didn't really see it, but it's been coming around again every now and then in TvT. It's pretty funny. It takes so long to kill a Thor. Actually, the most recent time we saw it was versus Protoss in the map tournament.
Oh, right. I forgot about that, actually.
Yeah, it was a very odd one. That was multiple Thors being proxied. But anyway, the Hellions get in, the Marines do too. The bunkers said finished, but it's still a good chunk of units not actually expanding. Medevac is targeted with the Cyclone, and the Cyclone could get away. Oh, okay.
Well, it's easier to reproduce another Cyclone than it is another Thor. And SCVs fully surrounding this aren't too shabby, but Thor's going to get a lot of kills before he goes down.
This is so silly.
Marines, of course, should really be able to walk over units. Like an Ultra skin of Thor should be able to walk on top of an SCV and kill it. 10 workers for 10 workers, though, isn't too shabby. Problem is the Lillekanin doesn't have a way to keep fighting on this side of the map. Bunker might hold, but the SCVs aren't mining, and this is not good for him. So, well, this was a cool sort of recovery from a bad build that was scouted poorly. Lillekanin will fall down, and uThermal will take that first game.
Funky stuff. Not too unexpected, though. So he used his proxy card, shall we say. I feel like, especially because it is the same map, you shouldn't proxy twice in a row. In general, people don't proxy twice in a row, but...
but that's where you double bluff and double down.
Yeah, exactly. Just proxy on the other side of the map. You'll never expect it.
Okay, so before we get into this, someone was bringing up the fact, but Snoot's the top donator, Rifkin. Snoot and our donations don't count. My donation and Snoot's donation were just going towards creating a base prize pool for this. We want to reward the extras. So that's why we're disregarding Snoot's donation for the portrait code, and Hojo to Super Clown currently has that #1 spot. A couple other people putting $1 into the pot. And once again, guys, you don't pay any money yourselves to contribute. We want to use up all those match arena codes. They give us 125 in total. I want to make sure we use 125 codes. There's 2,000 something of you tuning in, guys. If you haven't used it already, please go to the match arena page. Use the code. Hype up that prize pool. Let's make this as big as possible for these top 4 players. Nurchio, Damaga, Lillekanin, and uThermal.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
We're just waiting for uThermal to join us here in the game.
He is bugged for 1 second.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Did you count?
No, he told me 1 second, though.
So I gotta say, I really like this map. Maybe it's not good for Protoss. We don't know. We didn't get to cast any of those games. And obviously, results-wise, there was only really a couple of Protoss that even played in the tournament in the first place. That's kind of common for Europe. And really, I don't think is a consequence of this tournament or the map. But
yeah, it's not a big enough sample size to really be like, hey, Snoot.
Sample size, that's where, yeah, that's a better way to phrase that. But I gotta say, the Terran and the Zerg aspects are giving us pretty interesting maps, and I'm really excited for the finals and the 3rd and 4th place.
Yep.
But why you scout my dank moves? As stated, I've played you before. I'm not kidding when I say this, guys. You have to expect certain moves out of certain players, and Lillekanin, as cool as he is somebody that's kind of predictable if you know who he is. But speaking of which, in the top right, we've got the green Zerg player, Lillekanin.
In the bottom left, as the blue Terran, he's uThermal. uThermal. So that last game, besides the whole proxy scenario, ended up going as to what I was talking about before we got into it, where proxy or not, you know, 1 base aggression, 2 base aggression, whatever, I really feel like the better player in this matchup usually just is smart about it. There are definitely Terrans who are too aggressive and are too fancy even, that they'll be like, oh, my micro went out, I'll drop and he'll drop and I'll totally win. And, you know, their confidence kind of gets to them. But a lot of the times we just see the Terrans going up against Lillekanin whenever he's in a TvT. Just do what uThermal did. Like, he had a solid enough basis originally. He was scouting, obviously, very intently. And while he did end up pushing out, it was in a very, like, safe, like, he knew what he was doing manner. What's up?
I just thought of the sickest way to bring the Thor back without maybe breaking it too much.
Okay, let's hear it.
Forget anti-air. All right, Terran's got anti-air. We got Yamato cannons, Vikings, and Liberators, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have no melee units. We always complain about this. What
I
if
mean-
the Thor had like a swinging 45-degree angle arc in front of him with his arms that would not work against massive units? So you couldn't use it on an Archon, you couldn't use it on an Ultralisk, but it would do AoE damage in front of it to things like Lings and shit. Because the reason no one can build Thors right now is like tier 1 units counter them so hardcore.
So they'd have a melee swing.
Yeah. Instead of their like ranged auto attack, it's kind of like, you know, I'm thinking like, you know, when Roaches and Hydras have something in melee range, they change to a melee attack.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Talking about
I'm
Reinhardt.
thinking if Thors do that, they well, kind of, yeah, actually, Reinhardt a little bit, yeah. You basically would take his arms because they're giant, basically just cannons, and just swing them left and right or something.
I get your idea, and honestly, the idea itself is not bad. To give
It's
them
actually
some way,
it's the least riff logic idea I've ever had.
it's like basically however you do it, whether it looks silly or not, give them some way to deal with
Stomp the ground.
overwhelming units. Yeah, exactly. Like you could have them stomp the ground. You could have them like have almost like a spell, but call it what you want in a skill. You could have them literally move their arms back and forth.
No, they could just aim down and like shoot the ground in front of them.
Yeah.
And it would be like a small AoE or something.
I actually think that is I'm not like even gonna be like, oh, that's really dumb, Rifkin. Like, stop. Like, I think that is one of the problems of the Thor, and you're right, it wouldn't like break any of the other matchups. Like, when would it ever help versus a Protoss or something like that, unless it came with like a stun. But it would probably just be too silly, to be honest. Like, it would just look too silly, and it's a dumb reason not to do something, but it is also kind of in line as to what Blizzard's tried to do. I mean, there's a reason, I guess, Cyclones don't have also a flamethrower attached or something like that.
Well, now that you mention it.
But yeah, it's food to think about, actually. Just as the community, balance thing, the feedback, whatever came out, and you're talking about, units that need help or need to be brought back into the matchup. Thors are definitely in that category. But of course, we're in this TvT now, and it's actually a pretty basic one. We had one base versus a 2-base opener. Oh, stop! No, stop! Camera, please. I got stuck. And it looks like uThermal's really not going to do a whole lot. He got 5 SCVs for that and a scan. Don't mind.
That's a great deflect, though, because you got to consider 5 SCVs was necessary. His command center is only just starting at the it was about halfway through his own natural. Lillekanin's already in orbital on location, so that was not enough damage. It was nice, but it was not enough damage.
Yeah, we'll see what this Liberator can do. I thought he was just going to go into the natural, but he's chilling for now. He's waiting, I suppose. But you're right.
I don't want to get too much in this because it's a lot of what ifs. Like, Carbot's got that. For those who don't know, he's got this thing like, it'd be cool if, and like they'll make up his own ideas for like Heroes of the Storm heroes and stuff with abilities. But I think the Thor, they almost brought it back with anti-air change. We saw it for like 1 week in TvT exclusively, and then never again afterwards. Like nobody's using Thors even after that change.
Yeah, yeah. I know chat's all gonna have their opinions in like 30 seconds here, but for me, I just have never been on board the idea that every single unit has to actually be played out. I know that makes it kind of like, why even have the unit then, but sometimes that's just the way things go. Especially when you have 2 expansions as opposed to just the one that, Breed War had to add on.
Ooh,
many
Cyclone.
more units.
Nice pick off there for uThermal, but this attack coming out of Lillekanin is still pretty massive. This is going to be a tough hold. Liberator's going to get some denial of mining here. That's cool, but he might just lose everything back at home.
I was going to say, I've been like watching the Liberator, waiting for it to do something, and it was waiting for the push out, but... Well, it denies a lot of mining and actually straight up gets a lot of SCV kills. Lillekanin is not pulling at all. Oh, and the Banshee in the main.
Banshee was going across the map. Yeah, this one here in the main, but the one defending is also deflecting the attack as the Lillekanin had to pick up these tanks and keep them from fighting.
Oh,
Scan
Jesus.
goes down over
Oh,
here.
my God.
He loses out on that front line. uThermal just took a big lead in this game.
Even if the Banshee goes down, the tank's doing some serious damage. Rip, GG.
Ripperinos. Give Thor's a hammer. Thor's hammer. That could be the name of the attack. Thor's hammer, man. Like, just slam the ground.
That sounds like it's something that could definitely exist in co-op or campaign. That actually sounds really
probably.
cool.
I don't know about actual multiplayer. We'd have to get like nice username to specifically mod that or something. But okay, game. No, actually, you know what? As much as everyone is actually thrashing the idea in chat. I would like to remind everyone, Thors actually did originally have an ability like that. They would attack the ground in front of them in an AoE. Then they changed it to single target. Then they got rid of energy and casting on the Thor.
Well, you can
So-
feedback of Thor. It looks so stupid.
I still think like that actually bringing back that original ability where the cannons on the back of him would shoot the ground in front. Like, I don't know. That'd be cool. Anyways, that's going to lead us into the third place match, folks. That means we're going to have Damaga fight against Lillekanin. This should be pretty fun. I think this is just a best of 3, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, a best of 5 grand finals. No, grand finals best of 3 as well. Excuse me. So 2 best of 3s remaining for this tournament. Shoutouts for Snoot, to Snoot for making this possible. Shoutouts to all the people in chat for helping increase the prize pool. We're up to $344 from the original $125. That's really awesome to see. So make sure if you guys haven't, go to the Matcherino page. I want all those coupon codes to be used up, guys. I don't want there to be any coupon codes left over. So please, Matcherino in chat, and then go to the page. Use the code MOUNTAIN to donate $1 on. And of course, you don't have to actually donate any money yourself. They generate the dollar from their pockets on your behalf. But we're going to go to a commercial break while we get this set up. So don't go anywhere, folks. And we'll see you in a couple of minutes. Thanks for tuning in.